7.3b, we are talking about solving rational equations by using the LCD, the least common denominator. If you notice this problem from the last problems that we were working on, there is not just a single fraction on each side of the equal sign, is there? So the easiest thing to do is get rid of your fractions. You can get rid of fractions because there is an equal sign. When we were doing 7.2, we couldn't get rid of the fractions because why? There was no equal sign. You were only simplifying. Here we are not simplifying, we're actually solving. When there's an equal sign, you can get rid of fractions. So the first thing to do is check to see what your LCD is. So on example 1, what is my LCD? X. You also need to figure out which values can X not equal. What are your extraneous solutions? In this case, it's just X equals 0. So X cannot equal 0. Okay? So now that we know our LCD is X, in order to get rid of your fractions, what do? Good, you multiply every single term by X. Okay, when I do that, here the X's cancel out and we're left with 4 plus X times X is X squared equals, and X times 5 is, now what am I going to do? Good, because why am I going to subtract 5x? Set equal to 0, and you want x squared positive, so we subtract 5x to both sides. We'll rewrite that in descending order, so it's going to be x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0. How does that factor? Good. X minus 4, x minus 1 equals 0. Those multiply to be positive 4, add to be negative 5. And when we set those equal to 0, what does x equal? 1 and 4. Do either of those match our extraneous solutions? That's my answer. Questions? Okay. Example 2. What will be my LCD on this problem? Do x and x plus 3 have anything in common? No, they are totally separate, because remember, anything that has a plus or a minus is stuck together like glue. And so this is one thing and this is something totally different. So what is my LCD going to be? X times x plus 3. What will be my extraneous solutions on this problem? Good. So now that we know what our LCD is, I'm going to go to every term and write x times x plus 3. Okay, on my first one, the x's cancel out, and we're left with 5 times x plus 3. If you want to, we could just write it like this for a minute, 5 times x plus 3. If you want to distribute it, you can. I'm going to write it like this for a minute. The next one, nothing cancels. So I have negative 2x times x plus 3. I'm just going to write that for a minute. Negative 2x times x plus 3 equals. Here my x plus 3's cancel, and I'm just left with 2x. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and simplify. I do this because of the negative, and I want to make sure I don't mess up on anything. Okay, so we're going to distribute the 5. It's an airplane. Okay, we get 5x plus 15, and we distribute the negative 2x, and I get negative 2x squared, and negative 6x equals 2x. Next, what would you do? Good. So if I combine like terms, I'm going to write it in descending order. I have negative 2x squared. I have a 5x and a negative 6x, which makes negative x, and a plus 15 equals 2x. Now what? You could subtract 2x, but what always needs to be positive? Your highest exponent. That term needs to be positive. So if you move it, that's fine, but then you're going to have to end up dividing everything by -1 or moving it to the other side. So I'm just going to end up moving everything to the right. So I get the 2x squared positive. So I have 2x squared now over here. I'm going to add an x and subtract 15. Okay, so when I write this in descending order, I'm going to write this as 2x squared plus 3x minus 15 equals 0. Can I take out a GCF? No. If you do your over, under, bottoms up, if you go over by 2, you're going to have a negative 30. Okay? Is there anything that multiplies to be negative 30 and adds to be a 3? So you have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 6 and 5. None of them make 3. So how can I factor this?
It's simplified already.
No. Somebody's saying it. Samantha, win surprise. What do we have to do? The quadratic formula. Oh my goodness. Do we need to sing the song? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so, yes. Move it off. The reason why I moved everything to the right is because you always want your highest exponent. In this case, x squared is my highest exponent. You always want the number in front to be positive. So that's why you could have moved it to the left and then changed all your signs. That also works. But I just, since I know I want that positive, I decided just to move everything to the right. Okay, so A is 2, B is positive 3, C is negative 15. When we plug in those numbers, we get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 15 all over 2 times 2. Three squared is 9. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And negative 8 times negative 15 is positive 120. 2 times 2 here is 4. So when we simplify there, I get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 129 all over 4. 129, I know it's divisible by 3 because 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 9 is 12 and 12 is divisible by 3. But it becomes 43 and 3, which can't break down. So this is my answer. Okay? Any questions there? Do you want to introduce yourself? Or, all right, thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, we're recording notes, so I'm just going to keep going. All right, example 3. So, starting, what is my LCD going to be on this problem? Are you getting hot? Good. X minus 2, x plus 2. Because anytime you have a plus or a minus there, it's stuck together like glue and they're totally different, right? Who can tell me what my extraneous solutions are? Very good. You can write that as 2 and negative 2, or you could put plus or minus 2. I heard some of you say. Simplify that a little bit. Okay, so what is my next step going to be? Good. We're multiplying everything by the LCD, which is x plus 2, x minus 2. So you write that to every single term. What happens on my first fraction? Very good. X minus 2's cancel out. And we have 1 times x plus 2, which will just be x plus 2. Very good. My next one, is there anything that's going to cancel out? No. What should you multiply first? You could do the box method, but if you look at that, x minus 2, x plus 2, what actually is that?
X squared minus 4. X squared minus 4.
X squared minus 4. Because think about it. Negative 2 and positive 2, when you add them together, it makes...
Oh, negative 4.
It is a difference of 2 squares, exactly. If you want to use the box to double check it, you totally can. But this ends up being x squared minus 4. So we're going to end up multiplying 2 times this, and I'm going to write it down just so that I don't end up messing up. So I'm going to write that as 2 times x squared minus 4, and we'll distribute it here in a minute. What's going to happen on that last fraction? Very good. And we're going to end up with 3x times x minus 2. Okay, I'm going to let you finish this one on your own. You're going to try it. When you get your answers, write them on your whiteboards. Perfect. You don't actually have to use the quadratic formula in this one if you don't want to, but you could use it. Okay. Good job. Perfect. Good, good. Good. Okay, I'm waiting to see a few more answers. Good. 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 Oh, wait. It should be both positive. All right, the correct answers were 6 and 1. Okay, so let's finish going through this here. So I have x plus 2. We distribute the 2. I get 2x squared minus 8 equals, we get 3x squared minus 6x. Some of you didn't get it correct. Look at what I'm doing. Okay? At this point now, I'm going to combine the like terms that I have over here. So I have 2x squared plus x, and then 2 and negative 8 make what? Negative 6. Good. Equals 3x squared minus 6x. Which way should I end up moving everything? To the right. Okay, so I have negative 2x squared. I'm going to line that up. Negative 2x squared. I have a negative x, and then I have a plus 6. Okay, so that all cancels out, and we get x squared minus 7x plus 6 equals 0. See what happened? Okay. Okay, so now you can factor that. So what multiplies to be positive 6 adds to be negative 7? X minus 6, x minus 1. You need 2 negatives in order to multiply to make a positive, right? And when you set those equal to 0, what does x equal? Good. Do any of those match my Traini solutions? No. This is my answer. Any questions? Okay, example 4. Do you guys think you can do this one completely on your own? Okay. I see some answers already. Hold on one second. All right. Perfect. Yes, good. Good. Perfect. You guys are so smart. Yes. Perfect. Great job. Yes, except for it was perfect. And let's say all of them cancel out. Okay. Yes. Good job. Oh wait. Yeah, mine are opposite. Who's feeling like this? So mine is like positive and negative. The answers are 3 and negative 2. Yes. You guys are amazing. Okay, 3 and negative 2 are the correct answers. I'm going to work through this one. I'll probably do it a little quicker. If you want me to slow down, just holler out. Oh, way to go, Mia. Okay, x and x plus 6 are my LCD. Extraneous solutions are 0 and negative 6. When I go through here, I'm multiplying every single term by x and x plus 6. Okay, so here we go. X plus 6 canceled out. I have x times x plus 1. Here, the x cancels out, and I'm left with 1 times x plus 6, which is just x plus 6, equals, here x plus 2's cancel out. I'm left with x times 2x plus 1. When I distribute all that through, I get x squared plus x plus 6 equals 2x squared plus x. I combine my like terms. I have x squared plus 2x plus 6 equals 2x squared plus x. I'm going to move everything to the right to keep everything positive, or my highest exponent positive. I subtract x squared, subtract 2x, subtract 6. These cancel, cancel, cancel. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. What multiplies to be negative 1 and adds to be negative 6? A negative 3 and a positive 2. When you set those equal to 0, you get x equals 3 and negative 2. They do not match my extraneous solutions, so those are my answers. Questions? Okay, last example. If you already did it on your own, you had to use quadratic formula, and 5 plus or minus the square root of 21 all over 2 is the correct answer. I'm going to go ahead and do it quickly with you. What's my LCD?
X squared and x squared x squared.
Okay. It needs to at least be as big as your biggest number, exponent, whatever. If I used x squared and I multiplied this by x squared, would it get rid of the x?
No.
Yes.
It would.
It would, because you cancel out one x with the x squared and you'd have one left on top. Just like if I had a 3 here and a 6 here, I could use 6 because 3 would reduce with the 6, right? So your LCD is x squared. What is my extraneous solution?
0.
Very good. 0 is correct. I'm going to every term, multiplying it by x squared. So 1 times x squared is x squared. The next one, the x squareds cancel out. I'm left with plus 1 equals x goes into x squared. One of the x's cancel out, and we're left with 5x. Which way am I going to move things? Good. Subtract 5x. So I'm going to write this in descending order. X squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. Is there anything that multiplies to be 1 and adds to be negative 5? No. So A equals 1. B equals negative 5. C equals 1. We already sang the song. We know that it's negative b, which would be a positive 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 1 all over 2 times 1. Negative 5 squared is minus 4 times 1 times 1 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. We get 5 plus or minus the square root of 21 all over 2. 21 cannot break down to give me any pairs to take out, and that is my answer. And it does not match my extraneous solution. Questions?